Hi, hi. How are you? Good morning once again. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about mental health, depression. This is a lot has been going on, especially in our society. So much is going on, and we are just learning of stories. So much pain going on in ourselves, and we are wondering. Are we coming to a point where we cannot handle what is going on with us and with our lives? But I believe when it comes to depression, it's a dark place to be in. Trust me, it's a dark place. I believe, someone who is going through certain stuff, so it's good to be there for them, even though most of the time they don't know that they need help. So there are two types of depression for me, in my opinion, if you take it, and this is the way I see it. We have the clinical depression, where truly something is wrong. You need a psychiatrist, you need a hospital, and they're there. People are going through that, and they have to see a doctor. They have to be on medication. Now, there's this other kind of depression that we call situational depression. The situational depression is you have gone, something has happened to you and it has knocked you down, or maybe it has been a series of things happening, and they get to knock you down. So these two they are different in their approach and into what happens with how you heal out of it. Them, they are different. And I'm going to talk about, since I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatric or anything like that, I'm going to talk about the situational depression, because that's the one I've beaten myself. That's the one I help a lot of people in. And number one, healing. If you're going to heal from depression, first of all, you have to accept that you're not okay. You have to accept, okay, something is going on, even if you don't understand what is going on. But you have to be in that moment where you acknowledge that something is going on, and maybe you don't like it, and you're not okay. So you reach out for help. The difference, the challenge for people, and I keep saying this about our society, our society, is that when you hear someone, when you are somewhere, maybe you're doing, I run two companies. This is what I do as a life coach, and as a mentor, and as a trainer. And then I have something else called Happy Little Monkey. It's a shoe company. And it's so easy when we go somewhere and we're introducing ourselves and we're talking about what we do, and we talk of things that make sense. And when you tell someone you're a life coach, they are wondering, okay, what does that mean? That means I come, I see you. Are you a counselor? What do you do? And because we only know, in terms of counseling, we know that we go when you have problems. And which is, it's not a nice thing. It's not a nice attitude to carry around. We all need someone. Even the best team in the world, football team, they have coaches. It's not because Pogba doesn't know how to kick the ball, or because they don't know how to do it. They know, but they still need a coach, because between you and the next big step that you're going to take, it's someone who sees that potential of you. And that the person who sees that potential of you has to be outside yourself. Because if you, like today, you go for a run or you do squats and you do up to 5 and your legs start to burn, as I keep saying, your brain is there to protect you, and it doesn't know whether it's protecting you. It burns, it's bad, so we stop. But when you have someone else, they'll tell you, okay, one more, and you realize you can go for 5 more when you wanted to stop at 5. So that's what a coach is all about. A coach is to pull you. They see your potential, they are to pull you, to push you to the next step. So now, the depression issue is, this is what happens when you have your blueprint. I keep saying blueprint. Your blueprint into life, or the way you see life, and it gets disrupted. Something comes and knocks you down. If you are maybe a business person and you lose all your money, something happened. Maybe it was beyond your control. A lot of things happen that are beyond our control. And when they happen and you are down, you don't know who you really are anymore. And that's where depression comes in. When what you knew about yourself is taken away, then who do you become? Maybe it was a marriage, maybe it was about parenting, and maybe it's whatever it is. There are so many pains that are there in life. The thing with life is, no matter how much you hide, pain will always find you. It's like oxygen. Otherwise you are going to leave us. But oxygen, no matter which corner you go, it is there. Pain, even if you get under the bed, it will still find you. Because that's life, and I think that's an aspect of life that we have to accept. That there are good moments and there are painful moments that they will find us. But when we blame it on ourselves, that I failed, that I did not do what was right, it was my fault, I'm the one to blame. When we are looking for who to blame, and it will always come back to us, then we slip into that depression. If we cannot, there was a time I could not raise even money, maybe for basics, just basics. And when you are, you get defined by these things. The society has taught us these things, and especially when it comes to finances, because most of our pains as grown-ups comes from two areas. It comes from not unless we are sick or we lose someone we love. Those are things we don't have much control on, but on sicknesses we still do have some control on. But when it comes to when we lose a loved one, we have to cope with it. We don't know that there's nothing we can do about it, yeah. But we have relationships and we have finances. These two, anytime, talk to 10 people today and you realize their form of stress comes from those two, relationships and finances. If we cannot understand how to go around them, we need to understand the anatomy of relationships. We need to understand something we do to do with emotional health, emotional intelligence, and the principles around money. And we start winning on those areas, because we like to tackle that which we do not know. And when we fail, we blame it on ourselves. So most of the time I ask, how if you're having you lost a relationship or a marriage or whatever it was, you lost money. If you have gone into business and it has gone down over issues that you had no control over, but did you know that it could happen? How many business books have you read? How many relationships, articles, books have you read? Not necessarily to copy and paste to yourself, but for them to open your mind to what other possibilities that could go on around here. And that is usually the secret between the people who are successful in a certain area and who are not. We understand. If you start a business in an area that you love, because if you love it, you study it, you maybe even you go to school to learn about it, you succeed into it. And when we are talking about beating the depression, one thing that helps us to do this is realizing where we are. So when we have accepted, first of all, then what are the facts about where we are? Is it something that I understood? Is it something that I never saw it coming? Then where do I want to go? Yeah. After knowing where do you want to go, is you start making the progress that you need. it's a dark place because sometimes you don't even feel like leaving the bed. Yeah, so it's about starting all over again, redefining yourself, making small progresses, and you have to make those small progress. It's okay to look for help when you're not fine. Yeah, because the funny thing is, between maybe here you are and here you want to go, there is this valley you have to cross. And most of the time, since it's a dark place for you, you might need someone else to hold your hand to cross over to this other side. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to seek for help. It's okay to want to be helped. Yeah. So when you are in this place and you go, maybe it was about money, and you make some progress, you do something that you love, and maybe you managed to make a sale, or you had a small, no matter how small it is, progress. How good it feels. It gives you hope for tomorrow. So for you to beat the depression, first of all, you have to accept, know where you are, make the progress. But making this progress, between knowing where you are and making this progress, you might need to get help. It doesn't have to be necessarily somebody you talk to. It might be a book that you have to read. It might be you reminding yourself. Most of the time you have to stand in front of the mirror and make declaration and affirmation over yourself and your life. There are times when fear will grip you back to where you are, where it wants you to stay, because it feels safe there for you. But you have to keep saying, you have to keep pushing yourself to go and not to stop. Yeah, because the minute you stop, you slip back into the depression. So progress makes all the difference when it comes to gaining your confidence back, because you have to gain your confidence back. When you make a small progress, it fuels up your hope and your faith in yourself. So the worst, when they say no matter how bad the day is, wake up, show up, and you stand up for yourself, it means exactly that. If you feel like you don't want to get out of bed, and the best thing is to do exactly the opposite of that. You wake up in the morning, you take your shower, you leave the house, you go, you look for other opportunities. Even if it's for an hour, even if it's for 2 hours, seek to know more, seek to look for more opportunities, because they are there. And I keep saying, no matter what you're going through, as bad as it may seem to you, and maybe it's the worst thing ever, it's okay. But you should know that somebody else in this world has gone through such a situation. And since we live in a very good times, we live in times of information, and we have all this information around. Look for more people, look for information, look for how someone else beat that. Because when there is an evidence of someone else won in such a situation, and they beat such a situation, then even you too, you can do it. Even you too, you can turn your life around. You can make that difference today. Yeah. So look for information, understand why you are doing the things you are doing, and do not sit in the same dark place. Do not accept the dark place. It starts with you. Even before people come to extend a hand to you, it starts with you wanting to say, I do not want this anymore, and I'm going to do each and everything possible for myself to beat this. And sometimes, as I'm saying, when you might get someone who will reach out to you and help you, then well and good. But the work is all yours at the end of the day. So all the best with that. And thank you for watching. Subscribe down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, and let's meet here tomorrow.